It's time for citizen participation. Do we have any citizens willing to step up to the podium and speak on any non-agenda items? There's 5 minutes limit per person. You raised your hand, sir. Please step up to the podium.
Thank you. I'm Douglas Golding. I reside at 1316 Lincoln Avenue in the city of La Junta. I have 3 items that I want to bring before the council. The first, the facility charge that on the water that we are, as citizens, have been charged since the passage of the bond to construct the RO plant. It was my understanding, as well as many people who I've talked to, that that was a fee that would be removed when the facility was paid for. I believe the facility has been paid for, yet we're still paying that charge. I think the citizens of La Junta need a statement from the council as to why, if it's legitimate, why we are still paying that charge. Otherwise, I think it needs to be removed. My second point is upon the the failure of the tax increase that the city attempted, with failure of that, and with my talking to different people, it's my understanding that the financial situation of the city is not in great shape. And my question would be, if we don't have the money for the things that we have committed to provide for the citizens of La Junta, why are we building a new park? Okay, and in line with that, before the park was begun, I contacted the city and gave them my contact information. For those that don't know, I've been in construction for over 50 years in all phases of construction, and I volunteered my expertise, my time, my talents to help with the project. I was never contacted. If you said he didn't want me, that's fine, but a call saying we don't need your services would have been nice. The third thing I'd like to bring up is some years ago, probably around 10, my brother Dennis came and met with a group of citizens on 2 or 3 occasions to brainstorm and outline different things that the citizens of the city would like to see pursued at the city. And at the top of the list, I don't remember all 10 of the things they recommended, but at the top of the list was a walking and biking path. Since that meeting, and I think that was those meetings, that was probably about 10 years ago, we've moved a locomotive up on a hill. We built a new brick and tile park. We've done some other things. It just makes me question, whether our leaders these people spent their time, gave up their time to meet and do this at the city's request, and then the number one thing they asked for still is not a reality. Yet we've done these other things. So those are the 3 items I said. I really think we need to understand why we're paying that facility charge, and the citizens need to know why. A statement from the city would be nice. Also, I think we need to refrain from new construction projects if we're not financially able to fix potholes and the other things that the city is responsible for. And thirdly, if citizens get together and give their time to come up with ideas, I think they should be given more consideration than they were at that.
All right, sir.
particular time.
Thank you for your time. Your 5 minutes is up. Rick, would you address
Yeah.
the first?
Okay, yeah, and Doug, thank you very much. Because there has been, and actually I had that in my comments to go through some of this. Okay, now let's take the first one on the $17 per month. Okay, back when, because, I was there, way back. And that was in a couple conversations. When it came down to it, they did not put that in there because we knew that we'd be needing that. Now, back in 2010, 2012 era, they were thinking that it would go to help pay for the Ark Valley conduit. Now, let's jettison to today, where we are. And if you saw the audit, did you see when they did the audit here? Or on utility board? The water fund balance is $1 million in the hole. Right now, we're trying to see about what we need to just start charging for what it's costing us right now, right? Right now, we're having one main break per week. That is not acceptable. We need a main replacement program. I've watched the city's water loss go up to just about 21% now. Unacceptable. We don't need to have, like some of these other cities, where 50% of their water is not being delivered through them because their pipes are gone. The brick and tile park was paid 100% from grants. Now, the maintenance will be Conservation Trust. Buy your lottery tickets, because that's what pays for the maintenance of those activities. And right now, man, I mean, you go down there anytime, and that park is full. And if you haven't seen it, go down and look at it, and I know, Doug, you have. And then the third one, I did apologize to you for them not calling you, because I never did hear that. I don't know if you were talking to Darren Adami or that Mike Weber, but I went through 3 engineers over the past couple of years. Bummer, but that's just life. And I'm so glad that you brought up about the trail. Now, we've been trying to put a trail inside La Junta. It was in a 1967 comprehensive plan about developing out the arroyos. It wasn't something new. And we started in 1997, and there were some landowners didn't want to sell or anything, and it took about 10 years to start getting some of the properties and stuff like that. And it wasn't until we got down to the last properties that then I started applying for funds. But, it wouldn't have done the city no good to try to put the trail in there, because the first thing they ask is, do you own the land? So, yes. And you're right. If we can't get a grant to put something in, let's don't do it. And I'm open to questions or anything.
When you do get grants, that money is earmarked for
Certain
exactly
purpose.
what they,
Yes, what you put in the
what you
grant.
put in the grant.
Yes, ma'am. Frank, did you have something?
Yeah. Frank McKinsey, 1202 Raton, I'm on the utility board, and I just wanted to clarify a little bit more what Rick said in answer to Doug's question. I don't know the exact meeting, but in the last 2 years on utility board, we did address the $17 charge, and we researched it back to its beginning, and there was no sunset, or there was no sunset provision, so we could leave it on. And we chose to do that because we got infrastructure problems greater than just paying off the RO plant. We need to start putting in water lines all over town. So we chose to do that. It was done in open session, and it's a matter of public record if we go look it up. And the problem is we don't have even though Betty's doing a heck of a job, we don't have a newspaper that everything gets into, so what happens, everything that happens in the meetings doesn't always get to the press. But we darn sure did research it, and that was our decision to do
Could
that.
I make one?
Sure. Because
All I'm saying is the bond issue
the bonds,
was presented to the city, the citizens of this city, that would be temporary, even though you're saying that there was no sunset on that. I'm not disputing that, but the bond was pushed on the idea. Most people, if you ask them, they thought it was gonna come off.
if we go back in the documents,
I'm not questioning that, but
So-
you need to make a concerted effort to let people know that there was no sunset on this, that if they were misled when the bond issue was passed, the city apologizes, but let people know, because most people don't think it was supposed to be
No, I don't.
forever. I mean, we know with government taxes are forever, so I guess.
well, our city's infrastructure needs an upgrade, and that's a facility fee for that, and that's what we're using it for. And we had explained this in open session on more than one occasion. Now it's out there again on Facebook, which scares me to death, but, because I'm not good at this, but I felt it incumbent that I try and address your
Thank
point.
you.
All right,
Thank you, Frank.
thank you.
Thank you.
I hope we at least touched briefly on some of the questions that you asked. Any other citizens with any other non-agenda items that like to speak up on?